we're just going to wrap up, do some Q&A, and they've been hitting me with some good questions over the last few days, so we're going to, I've saved the answers for those, because I think their questions are probably really similar to other people's questions, so let's answer it in a group.
Rob, we have people that we want to introduce strongman training to them, and they say, well, I don't want to do that. I just want to work on my clean and jerk, or I want to work on my snatch. And they believe that these are two divergent ways of training. You either do one or you do the other. And I'd like you just to kind of go on record explaining your philosophy about using strongman as a general fitness to improve your overall fitness and how it translates into Olympic lifting.
Yeah, I mean, you know, one of the things that we see in strongman is how important it is for the athlete to use hip extension and to open those hips violently. And the beauty of the movements that we employ is that they don't have to be taught, they just need to be remembered, because your body has been hardwired to do this. To pick things up, push, pull, drag, press. You've already got all that DNA that tells you that your body is supposed to do that. So we put a tire in your hands or a stone in your hands, and we teach you how to forcefully open up your hip, and that has instantaneous carryover into a power clean, instantaneous carryover into a snatch, or any activity at all where you're opening up the hip violently. We saw it a couple days ago when we did the stones. Every one of you opened up that hip violently. And if you look at a kipping pull-up, a muscle-up, tire flip, power clean, snatch, keep going through the list, kettlebell swing, every one of those requires you to open up your hip with violence. So it's a great lead-in for all of those highly technical movements. The stones are really easy. Every one of you guys picked it up in less than 5 minutes. So I can teach somebody how to open their hip and use it in less than 5 minutes.
Is another part of this the ability to use strongman to gain strength and power versus a skill set, a specific skill set for like using the rings or doing some of the combined Olympic lifts?
Well, yeah, what we employ is just work. You know, it's grunt work. It's move this from here to there. The learning curve is flat. There is no learning curve. You know, that a muscle up is a highly technical skill that takes time to practice. And picking up the yoke and carrying it from point A to point B takes no skill.
But if you understand the skill set and you don't have the power to do the muscle up,
yeah, I can read a book and I can understand it perfectly, but I've got to be able to actually generate enough power to do a muscle up. Right. Strongman, the beauty of these movements is that they don't take much practice or skill, but you get a whole lot of work, so it's a high return on investment for a general population. That, like, if I want the quickest bang for my buck, and I'm a member at a gym, strongman's the way to go. Right? Right. That's the way to go, because I'm going to walk in the door and I can get intensity in just a couple minutes.
I think that in less than 4 days or in less than 4 hours, I think we all learned that during this week.
You know, I always lead in with
that. we felt that, and we're going to feel it for the next couple of days.
Yeah. I mean, I always reference the squat snatch. Like, if you're a coach, how long does it take you to teach somebody, a new member, to snatch? Okay? Yeah. And how long does it take me to teach somebody how to do a stone? And the return on investment is, and the learning curve, it just makes it, as a coach, you have to explore that modality. You have to explore it. And as somebody who's really interested in the fitness of the members, I don't know how you ignore this stuff. We start with this and then we morph it into, you know, barbell movements.
I want to talk programming a little bit. Not specifically, but in a monthly program, where would you like to see, I'm not talking as tools, but strongman workouts. I'm not talking about doing double unders, pull-ups, and
yeah, so specific strongman
workouts. 3 minutes workout.
Anytime, that's a tricky question. tricky question. For somebody who says, hey, I'm going to go compete in a strongman contest in 8 weeks, I need to get ready for it, I would have them continue to do our class workouts, but occasionally I would pull them out. Probably twice a week I would pull them out and work on specifics. So log, clean, or press for max weight. Whatever it is, I would have them do...
One movement, max...
yeah, one or two, and just establish some single rep maxes, some 3 rep maxes, where you're moving heavy load, really short duration, so it mimics a strongman event. I mean, the other option too is what we do, like we told you earlier this week, Wednesdays and Fridays we give it as an option. So if you come in and you want a pure strongman workout, you're like, I don't like what's on the board, I want to do strongman, we'll give it to you. And that workout is going to be, usually it's on the shorter side, 5 minutes or less, and usually the weight is cranked up. It doesn't have to be.
And for the majority of people, let's say just people that want to get fit.
The majority of people, they're not going to come in asking you for strongman. They're not going to come in saying, I want to do more stones today. But if they do, if you're doing kettlebells, sub in a stone. Find a strongman substitute that mimics some of the movement.
How about the short strongman exercises? If I want to add something in the same day, I can?
Yeah.
Or it's better to just do the short?
I think on some days it's great to take a 5-minute rest and then throw yourself a second workout. Other times, take a 6-hour rest and throw yourself another workout.
And how do you know?
Constant variety, executed at high intensity.
How do I know if to give it like 10 minutes rest or 6 hours rest?
Whatever you did yesterday, do it differently today, right? So when my coach was programming for me leading up to this year's games, Saturdays were the days where the volume was really high. Usually it was 4 workouts. Sometimes he would say, rest 8 minutes and start workout 2. Other times it was rest 3 hours and start workout 2. So he had me never knowing what was going to happen.
Like in 4 workouts, were they short or some of them long?
Sometimes it was 20 minutes, and the next one would be 30 minutes, the next one would be 2, and the next, constant variety. And the duration of rest between those workouts was always different too. There are so many variables that it's impossible for me to give you a formula. I just can't.
I know.
I can't.
Just mix.
Right. Some days it's 4 minutes, other days it's 8 minutes.
But then everything works, eventually.
Eventually. If you look long, like we were talking about the other day, it all comes back.
Then it's like Mo asked, you can't point one thing that can help you. It's
an accumulation over a lifetime.
Yeah.
We had a long discussion at the board about how easy it is to get lost in the details and the minutia of your programming and your workouts, and you lose sight of the bigger picture, which is really that we're doing this to get healthier, fitter, faster 10 years from now, not next week. So when you liberate yourself from the idea that your programming today has a direct impact on whatever's going to happen in the next 2 or 3 weeks or 6 weeks, when you remove that pressure, programming is really easy. So we had this long discussion at the board about how much more fun it is if you just look long term.